So today we have with us Geetika Mehta. She's the managing director at Nivea India Pvt Ltd. She's from the PGP 2003 batch and has just received the Young Alumni Achievers Award in the Corporate Leadership category. With over 21 years of proven track record in the business leadership, Geetika has demonstrated exceptional skills in profit and loss delivery, commercial handling, and consumer marketing experience across food, home care, and personal care sectors. Before Nivea, Geetika worked at Hersheys India Pvt Ltd and Hindustan Unilever. Congratulations, Geetika, on receiving the Young Alumni Achievers Award. What does this award mean to you?
Firstly, thank you so much, Swagata, for this honor, actually, and thank you to the institute really for giving this alumni award. I think it is really nice, when you graduate from a premier institute like IIM Ahmedabad. Of course, there is a lot of privilege that comes with it, but there is also the responsibility of almost living up to all the investment that has gone behind bringing you there. So I think uh, it's been absolutely outstanding to have received this. Thank you.
And you had your longest stint in Hindustan Unilever. So how was the journey rising the ranks and then becoming the managing general manager there? And how did it shape you as a person and a leader?
So I actually joined Unilever straight out of IMA. And even as I was joining in the place conversations, I remember my mom telling me, don't join sales, as sales, is not for women. And therefore, I promptly asked which, company offers sales. It was Unilever, and I happily joined. And I, of course, look back and think that that was one of the best decisions actually I took. I think sales as a stint really grounded me. You really, I mean, I was in Western UP, so I have had many interesting, scary, many different kinds of experiences. I've had distributors pointing a gun at me. I've had, like people beating down my door at 3 a.m. So it's been like what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So from that, I think it was a brilliant thing to have joined Unilever. Um, as an organization, it has really taught me a lot. I think it's instilled the basics of business, which have then come instead in very good stead across the other stints. So yeah, it's I spent more than 18 years. It's a lifetime, right? You become an adult in 18 years. So I've a lot to thank to Unilever, and I must admit also to Hershey, and now with to Nivea, because all these organizations are really, uh, you know, embody a lot of care, and a lot of employees really are happy in these organizations. So yeah.
And you have diverse experience across different markets. How has that influenced your approach to leadership at Nivea?
Yeah, so I've worked across and handled different markets, from Thailand to South Africa, of course South Asia, which I handle now as well, which is Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka, even Brazil. So I think what I learned really from handling different markets is that you know people are different across the world. Yeah, of course the main motivations remain same, but they respond differently. I think Brazilians are um, very assertive about what they would like in the business, but Thailand may not be as much. They may have more passive aggression in that sense. So how do you handle different situations with different people and get them forward in this journey? I think I've learned as a result of getting this cross cultural experience, which helps because even within this region there are just different motivations that drive people, and therefore just getting to understand what those motivations are helps you be able to answer them and address and move and shape things and make an impact. So yes, it's been very wonderful to get the opportunity to work across these markets.
And can you talk about some of the challenges that you face as a corporate leader, and especially in this sector, which is also very volatile, very different, FMCG? And how did you overcome some of these challenges?
Yeah, so I mentioned some challenges in my sales stint earlier.
Hmm.
I think challenges of different kinds across different stints.
Hmm.
And, how do you, I think the biggest challenge, and that is true for everybody in business, is how do you get onto this kind of the right side of the growth flywheel. So how do
Hmm.
you continue getting growth? How do you continue strengthening your brands to be able to address the consumer needs? I don't think personally, frankly, the challenges are really how do you manage and work, and your families, and how do you manage those commitments. So I have two boys who are, 12 and 9. So yeah, how do you handle that and ensure that
Hmm.
you are really absolutely effective in your workplace, but also when you get back home, then you're available as a mother to them.
Hmm.
So those would be then a personal challenge that I would have faced.
And how did you overcome some of them? What have you learned through them?
Yeah, I think my learning firstly has been that I'm actually able to compartmentalize fairly well. So I'm really in the moment. So when
Hmm.
I'm at work, like when I'm speaking with you, Swagata, I'm with you 100%. There is no
Hmm.
phone around me. There's nothing.
Hmm.
So and then when I'm at home, then I'm with my kids 100% as well. So I think for me that really works, and that helps me handle this. It also ensures that whenever I'm in the moment, then you're really contributing to your best. And from a work challenge lens, like I said, it is really about also gathering more information. To me, that has helped me overcome. The more I understand about a situation, the more armed and equipped I am with, different data points across the economy, across the sectors. It helps me shape decisions and move things faster. So yeah, that's worked.
And how do you approach product innovation at Nivea to meet the, evolving needs of consumers?
Yeah. So Nivea as a brand, and most people when I tell them that think of that iconic blue tin, which has been on many kind of dressing tables over the generations. So I think it does already stand for
Hmm.
quality, great quality products. It has a certain heritage. I think the job, of course, is to keep up the innovativeness on the brand.
Hmm.
We are so much more beyond the blue tin now, and
Hmm.
therefore how do we ensure that is there? So we have different, I mean, Nivea really stands for skin, so anything that is for skin is an area that we are rightfully going to be participating in from a category lens, and therefore our innovation cycles keep that in mind, which is to ensure that what is the consumer looking for, what is the unmet need that we can then help resolve, and how can Nivea be, kind of come with a point of differentiation. So yeah, so this year, in fact, I've taken over this year, and we've had a slew of innovations across, sunscreens, across derma, across shower gels, just indeed, like I said, to address some of these empty spaces that we had in our portfolio. So really keeping consumers front and center is the way we've always looked at innovations.
And what advice would you have for somebody who wants to work in this sector?
Yeah. So it is called fast moving consumer goods for a reason. So there is fast movement here, and I think anybody who comes to this sector must, be willing to put in the hard work and the extra mile, and do the extra effort. I think there is no substitute, at least in my playbook. I think you can, of course, you have to work smart, but there is no substitute for the dedication and perseverance.
Hmm.
The other advice I can give is always stay curious, you
Hmm.
know, be willing to learn, and sometimes unlearn and relearn, so that you are really keeping up with this fast moving sector. And yeah, and I would just say be always on the lookout for what are opportunities and learning agilities that you can build. So
Hmm.
the moment you feel you're becoming a little stack, when you're comfortable, your comfort
Hmm.
zone is not necessarily a good space. So that's when an area where you say, I've been doing this job, I can do it blindfold and bound and gagged, is an area, is a time that you need to move out, and then
Hmm.
kind of get on to the next new learning cycle.
And from your first job, when you said that you took up sales, especially when your mom said, please don't do it. So you like to take on challenges. And is this some trait that has, seen you through all of these changes in your career?
Yes, actually, that's I really do feel that challenges inspire me to
Hmm.
do more, to push myself a lot more. Frankly, starting even before I went to IMA, that coming to IIM Ahmedabad was a challenge in the sense that I wanted to
Hmm.
get into the best institute
Hmm.
that there was. Then, of course, Unilever, doing sales. And then even in my personal life, I've run a full marathon. Running a 42 kilometers, I had to challenge myself to saying, I will do this.
Hmm.
Otherwise that does, I mean, you put in the hard work, you put a goal post, and then you put in those little milestones in the middle to be able to reach that goal post. So yes, challenging and rising up to challenges is a bit of a kind of something I carry across both professional and personal lives.
And this resilience and that mental strength that I can see through
Yeah.
your
Yeah, no, I
journey.
think, I mean, at least, we are all shaped by our value system. And therefore, my belief strongly is that you have to have that, like you said, resilience to be able to see through, because life will not always be a smooth road.
Hmm.
There will be ups and downs, and then to be able to carry yourself and the organization forward through the peaks and troughs of a regular business cycle requires that resilience, requires that calm of saying, this too shall pass if it's a low period, and equally, during your highs, this is not going to stay forever. So you are, I think, more balanced as an individual when
Hmm.
you have that resilience of saying that I'm going to, you're really able to pace yourself well.
Hmm. And you are one of the very well-known female leaders in the corporate industry, and you have been a champion of women empowerment. Can you tell us about some of your initiatives to increase female workforce participation?
Yeah, sure. So I genuinely firstly believe that, women, I mean, are in slightly maybe better, but at least as equal as men. And therefore, it's a pity that still in the
Hmm.
workforce, we are not equally represented. Like I said, I started off in sales. At that time, it was really low number of women in sales.
Hmm.
And even now, it's nowhere near an equality in the sales force. So I think, for example, when I was at Hershey, we had zero women in the factory. Yeah, zero
Oh.
women in the factory. And you would basically, and it was in Mandideep, which was Bhopal, so like a little, not
Hmm.
sometimes maybe feeling the safest. And then you just kind of first spot the issue and then say, how will we correct for it? And once you
Hmm.
enthuse the teams, then teams are very, very proactive, and they're able to find, so in 1 year, we moved the women in the factory from 0 to 100, in the span of a year, which involved, of course, the factories, kind of doing an outreach program in the nearby places, arranging a transport, arranging like separate toilets for them, which was never thought of before. Also, kind of relearning, on how to handle this to the men in the
Hmm.
factory so that they are comfortable with having women around. And frankly, the productivity parameters went up, in some places. So, like women, for example, may have nimbler fingers, or packaging rates actually went up, or, they're able to maybe have more attention to detail. So, put them in the right parts of the business. You
Hmm.
wouldn't put them in maybe a loading, unloading, for instance. But
Hmm.
how do we get them to contribute their best in an area? So I think that is an example. Similarly, when I was in sales again, and I referred to that a lot because it was a very kind of life shaping stint.
Hmm.
I would some go days at end literally not drinking water because there were no good facilities around. And it
Hmm.
was also awkward in an all male team to suddenly say, can I, I don't know, I felt awkward. So yeah, with that, what I did was, we've done tie-ups with, apps which tell you where the closest bathroom is. So we pay for the app, and then we make
Oh.
that available to our employees so that they don't need to necessarily face issues which can prevent them from wanting to join the sales force. So yeah, those are some of the initiatives that, and there is so much more to do. Like frankly, at Nivea, I'm delighted that our leadership team is 50-50, and frankly, and I, of course, don't think diversity is only gender. There is
Hmm.
diversity in my leadership team. We are across the country. somebody's from the south, somebody's from Gujarat, I'm from Punjab, so therefore there is diversity of gender, but also diversity of your thinking, what you bring to the table. And I think all these diversities must be really embraced and brought forward.
And what you've demonstrated in a factory setting, which is not considered to be the most friendliest places for women, to sales, which is again considered something that women themselves are hesitant to do. So there's a lot
Yeah.
of behavior change that has gone through.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
as a leader, what are the people skill that one needs, and how do you drive these kind of positive changes?
Yeah. I think I have always felt that a vision that galvanizes teams is the one that works the best. When they're all wanting that vision, which kind of brings up the work from I'm doing some project to saying this is in kind of service of this ultimate vision and goal.
Hmm.
It's the equivalent, and I read it somewhere saying when somebody was building the Taj Mahal, you could also have said that I'm just putting together bricks, or
Hmm.
you can say that it is all towards building a beautiful monument. So that
Hmm.
vision setting of saying this is what we are going for, I believe gives more meaning to every work. I'm getting great talent if you're in HR into this organization in the service of building Nivea as a great company. I'm doing, an ROI calculation in finance in service of building this. So I think vision setting for me has been a very important element of,
Hmm.
getting of my leadership, so that, there is that excitement beyond. I also feel ensuring an equal workplace where everybody is heard, everybody has a voice at the table, and that's not gender specific. There are different kinds of people, some who are quiet, and then to ensure that everybody has that space and time and is asking, would you want to add anything to this conversation, is an important element. So taking everybody along, for me, is another part of what I would say makes me the leader that I am.
Hmm.
uh, and I think genuinely caring, like about teams and people and business. So it is not, I mean, when I'm, like I said, I'm really in the moment. I'm with you. When I'm with my teams, I'm with them. I'm like rolling up my sleeves, getting into the thick of things. So like, I genuinely enjoy. I draw in energy from people. I hope I give energy back as well. So yeah, I think really for me that is again another um, kind of hallmark of my leadership.
Talking about your interests, you are a trained Kathak dancer. You received a national scholarship for dance. You're also a marathon runner. So, what role does art and other hobbies play in your life?
Yeah. So yes, I've done Kathak for almost 14, 15 years. Unfortunately, I left it. And maybe one day, never say never, maybe one day I get back to it. But yes, I've always had an extracurricular beyond
Hmm.
academics when I was studying or beyond work. I think it is important to remain sane. So like for example, even today I did a 5 kilometer run in the morning. I think
Wow.
it keeps me grounded. It ensures I mean, I personally, I mean, I really enjoy running, and I think it adds another dimension to your personality beyond just, working. And I think it gives you that space to think. Sometimes, nebulous thoughts get crystallized during a run. So yeah, I think it's important. So to everybody who's seeing this, I would say, absolutely ensure you have something else beyond work, family, which is for yourself. It could be painting, it could be whatever is giving you that joy and that space and that time to really remain kind of grounded, remain in the moment. I would strongly encourage it.
And especially for women, right, who spend so much of your time serving others and putting people and their family members before them. That is important to take care of themselves.
Yeah, like I was saying, so I wake up at 5:30, and then I go for a run. Then 6:30 is kids' duty, getting them ready for school. 7:30 I leave for work. 8 o'clock I'm at my workplace, and then I'm at it for the next whatever 10 hours. So yeah, it's a lot, but then you have to put it as a priority.
Hmm.
So sometimes we and again can look at we don't have the time. I think we don't have the priority for that thing, and hence time doesn't happen. So it's, we don't create the time because it's not priority for us. The moment you say this is priority, I am a person who, will do something beyond just work and kids, then I will create the time for it. And, that the rest follows, so then we don't do late night parties because then we have to sleep early to be able to wake up early. So there are always, different decisions that you have to make, and therefore different priorities. But whatever is priority, the time will get created for it.
That's insightful. Now, as a recipient of this award, what are your goals for the future for yourself personally and professionally?
So I must admit, Swagat, I have never put it down as a goal. Like this was not a goal to get this Young Alumni
Of
Award.
course.
And frankly, when I got it, my kid's reaction was, "Mama, how are you young?" So yeah, they keep me humble. But so it's never like a goal that I will do this by this time, etc. I think for me, what is really important is when I'm in a role, I do create some impact. I leave the place better than when I found it. I look back and I am happy about some legacy like I've left behind. So, for example, that 0 to 100 journey at Hershey, you know, I look back and I think back and think, that was a moment that was important and pivotal. So, yeah, so I don't have these big grandstanding goals. I, of course, have, like I said, a vision and a goal for where Nivea should move to. But for me personally, I just want to ensure I give, my best to every single day. I go back feeling like you'd had a full, kind of rich life at the end of it. I think that will be a super way to end.
Thank you so much, Geetika, for spending this time talking to us and sharing your insights. We wish you all the best for the future.
Thank you so much, Swagata. Really appreciated this chat. Thank you.